Hi, my name is Billy. I work for Nosto. Our mission is to make every impression relevant. So what that means from an online experience is having really tailored digital marketing towards a user. And what that means for a brand is basically finding really authentic views of what you offer through social media and presenting that to the market. I personally have a background in psychology and marketing, and I'm a big travel advocate. I love traveling, so I've always loved the opportunity to kind of see both sides of that travel market, always looking for my next holiday, and then also see from a marketing perspective, what do I resonate with and what will essentially the market resonate with. So using both sides of that to help our customers essentially. Yeah, sure. I think there's three key trends that are emerging. The first is authenticity. The second is like the kind of digital experiences and making sure they're refined. And the third is more personalized experiences. So delving into those, I think what marketing and what people want these days is really authentic views of what the destination is. So they don't want necessarily the glossy images or the influencer content. They want real relevant experiences. I also think from a brand's perspective, when it comes to the online experience, we're spending so much money on the acquisition of these customers, we need to match that from the online experience. So making sure if you bring the customer in, a few clicks and they can actually make that purchase, making that as seamless as possible. I think finally as well, I think it's really important to tailor what you're giving to your customers and making it sure it's much more targeted rather than generic marketing. Good example, I recently went to Vietnam and I did a bike tour and they had 4 different options. It was, do you want to go for food, did you want to go for culture, or do you want to go for history? So they have these much more tailored experiences and I think the trends are going to be much more geared towards individual offerings in the future. Yeah, sure. I think at the end of the day, it comes down to brand marketing and having a really strong brand position. I think what a lot of brands need to do is leveraging social media to push that. So it's not necessarily looking at, all right, what are we doing from a massive online perspective, but how are we finding really relevant micro influencers and organic influencers and using them to develop and push our brand and then promote that to our market. And I think if you can really resonate with your customers, like I've mentioned before, in more personalized experiences, more genuine connections and authenticity, that's how you build a much lasting relationship and that's how you build loyalty so your customers keep coming back. Yeah, sure. I've got 2 major tips. The first is a bit of a gap in social or UGC content is brands mostly just use social content on socials. I personally think the real value of social content is using that outside of social media as a content engine. So using a social post and using that in out-of-home advertising, print media, paid media, and especially content on the website through thumbnails or blog posts. That's where you can really save a lot of money and really start to get content that converts and appears so much more authentic. I think the second thing, and kind of flows on for the first thing, is a lot of brands struggle finding this content. They might not have as natural organic posts. So I think what we recommend is something like a competition to increase the amount of content that you can. Works as a great way to get buzz from the brand as well. A really good case study is Trafalgar Tours. They're a brand within the Travel Corporation, which is mainly around Northern Europe. They had a bit of a problem post-COVID where they needed to expand, or basically show that they're back in action and book more bookings again. So what they did was they reached out to a 5 million user database and they promoted their new tours, share something from your adventure in the previous years and win a chance to win a new tour. So that enabled them to post their previous customers who would post to their networks and so on and so forth. They were only expecting a few thousand responses, but they got over 10,000 visual content back. So they can now use this as their own content engine. They got a massive engagement. All of the posts from this particular campaign generally had much better engagement and reach than the traditional posts. And it's been hugely successful to get content they can use before and a massive online buzz and engagement moving forward. Primarily, it's meeting people face to face. You forge much more genuine connections that you can leverage later on, and it's always great staying up to date with trends and relevant, industry news, especially post-COVID. There's a lot going on. Looking to the future, it's great to stay ahead of those trends and kind of learn from the best what they are and what they think is going to happen.